Hi everyone.
Adrian here. Adrian here is going to tell us about Ring.
Hi everyone. So I'm going to present with my colleague Andreas Ring. So Ring, it's a fully distributed communication platform. So it's a fully distributed communication platform using a few different distributed systems to work. And so we're going to present to you what Ring is, how it works, and how we implemented those different distributed systems to design Ring. Okay, sorry for the slides in French, but yeah, so this is basically the different kind of distributed system you can have. So the classic kind of information system will be a centralized system. So you will have everything on a single server or a single computer or node that will have all information from everybody and that will authenticate different users. So that's the classic form of different web services, proprietary services, but also many free software services are hosted on a single server or by a single organization. The federated system is what we use with emails. So with emails we have different servers. Those servers can communicate between each other, and every user has a server, is registered on a given server. So you send the email to this server, the server will communicate with other servers, and then this other server will give the email to the other end user. And Ring is fully distributed, so there's no federation concept. It's really fully peer-to-peer. So Ring is based on certificate chain. So when you create a new Ring account, you will basically generate a new RSA key pair. So this is the base of identity management in Ring.
So just as an interjection, previous versions of Ring, because this is a project that's been in development for quite some time, and recently a major advancement has been the changing from the representation of your username as the public key to a username that's bound to a public key now that's being stored using blockchain and distributed across the DHT. So in a minute I'll give a demonstration of just like creation of a Ring account, and your what we call a Ring ID is essentially your public key, and this is now being represented by a username, so much easier to use the software in terms of an end user experience. You can look up a name rather than trying to paste your long string of characters into a paste bin or something like that, which is what we used to do. Or we implemented originally a QR code system, so that if you're using Android with a camera or some device with a camera, you can take a picture of the QR code and convert it into the Ring ID. But it's now recently in the past year released just before the beginning of 2017 was the release of the Beta 2, which includes that functionality, and as well another major advancement which has been the ability to add multiple devices and to chain multiple devices into a master account. So for people who use telecommunication systems on multiple devices, you can now use the same account on more than one device, which was undoable before, using the DHT as well. So, and keeping everything secure. Alain is going to speak, I guess, about the archive secure. And I'll do a demonstration of the...
Créer un nouvel compte.
Ouais. So
Andreas is going to show on this laptop when you create a new Ring account how it goes. So we try to make Ring as easy as possible to use for end users. So our goal is to make Ring just as easy as to use as any other proprietary communication software. So the absence of a central server should be as transparent as possible for the user. So the user shouldn't care about the existence or not of a central server as much as possible, except of course power users who understand the implications of all this. So as you can see, basically, if you just generate a key pair, you will get a public key that will be complex, and you will not be able to remember that public key, to give to other people. So if you are at some club and you want to give to some girl your identity on Ring, you will not be able to give this long ID. It's not going to be possible. But you might be able to give just a username you registered. So, I'm Bob on Ring, you know, this kind of thing.
Bob's taken, by the way.
Oh, shit.
So is LOL 1 through like 100 for testing purposes?
So we implemented username registration on the blockchain to be able to register usernames without using any central server. So for this, we chose the Ethereum technology to have as much flexibility as possible compared to other blockchain-based name registration systems. So we use Ethereum in a complementary complementary with the classic DHT that we use to find other peers on Ring. So when you use your Ring ID to contact someone, it will use the DHT distributed system similar to BitTorrent, but fully encrypted to find other peers, exchange the IP address with the other peer, and then establish a peer-to-peer TLS connection with the other peer that you found over the DHT. So now with Ethereum, you will first, if you know the name of the peer you want to contact, you will first do a lookup on the DHT. So it's a free instantaneous operation on the blockchain. And you will get the Ring ID corresponding to this username, and then use this Ring ID just as you will use an IP address that you resolve from a DNS address online. So the Ethereum registry is basically just a name, Ring ID. So it's key pairs registry. It's very light, but it's still not light enough to be on every single Ring device. So every single Ring node is a DHT node, participates, gives also resources for other peers to reach each other, but the blockchain is too heavy, the mining process is too heavy to run on every Ring node. So the Ring name server is a separate project from Ring. So when you install Ring, you don't have a blockchain node mining or anything, but anybody can just clone the source code of the Ring name server and participate to the existing blockchain. So how do people find each other on Ring? They use the OpenDHT network. OpenDHT network is a distributed hash table that we created at Software Linux to meet the needs of Ring. So OpenDHT, it's academia-like hash. Who here knows what are distributed hash tables? Oh, okay, good. So OpenDHT, it's an implementation of a distributed hash table that allows to store not just IP addresses like BitTorrent, but any kind of data. And we use it to store encrypted IP addresses, as explained. So when you reach people with Ring, you will put your encrypted IP address, and the other person will reply on the DHT. I will show you, but if you already know distributed hash tables, you will mostly already know this algorithm. So this is the Kademlia algorithm. Every node knows some part of the network, the nodes that are the closest to the node own ID, and you will then ask other nodes iteratively. You will ask the closest node that you know to the target ID until you reach the target ID, and the node will answer you with the list of nodes that are the closest to the target ID. So that's similar to the technology used by BitTorrent to find peers. Yeah, so we use OpenDHT in combination with the Ethereum blockchain-based name registration, and we use them to create fully distributed network. I think, do we have time?
Should I do a demo of the account creation?
We have 10 more minutes.
Okay, we might do a demo.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'll just go through the account creation. It's pretty simple, but yeah, you obviously people at the start of the implementation of this the Ethereum blockchain name service, we're giving people the option to not do such a thing. So you don't really have to register, but by default, it's the best idea. So I'll find something that create an account. Here's so FOSDEM test. So yeah, this will be a local name. I'll create a Ring account. I'll register it on.
So no way you can put that on the screen.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
Unfortunately,
I'm just yeah.
10 minutes.
Yeah, there's no HDMI cable if you have a HDMI. But essentially, I'm just writing in a couple fields the name that I'm gonna keep you locally and the name that I'm trying to register onto the blockchain, and then I'll supply a password. I'll keep it simple.
So compared to the DHT used in BitTorrent, in Ring we implemented a new feature that is here called Listen. So you can ask other nodes to be informed of a change of value at some given hash. So when you will be called for an incoming call, for instance, you won't have to do some kind of pooling every second. You will receive a network packet from other nodes saying, oh, there's a new value, and then you will see, oh, it's someone trying to call me. We try to reduce as much as possible the impact of the DHT network on mobile devices, because the DHT network requires to keep track of other nodes online, send and receive packets continuously. So it's pretty bad for the battery on mobile devices, but we have a lot of internal projects to try to have like proxy nodes or these kind of things to reduce the load on mobile devices in terms of battery and data consumption. Do you have any questions about the distributed design?
About using of nodes, is that just a concept now, or is it already implemented?
Sorry?
The proxy node.
Oh yeah, proxy node. So it's not implemented yet, but we think about it for a long time. To have nodes registering themselves on the OpenDHT network itself.
But being themselves on the fixed internet and not on a mobile device.
Yeah. So maybe like the desktop version of Ring might enable by default, allowing to proxy other nodes, this kind of thing.
Another question: why is it necessary to use the Ethereum blockchain?
Yeah, the reason is that on the DHT network, there's no way to be sure that no one else will register the same name. So there is no cryptographic certainty that you will be the only person to have this name.
Okay, it's just for making sure that it's only that each and every username is only created once.
Yeah, exactly. It's to preserve the security of Ring, because otherwise some other person could register a name. So when you are called, and this other person will receive the call, and then this other person can act as an attacker, as a man in the middle, or anything.
So you're using the blockchain as a directory.
Yeah, exactly.
So names are important, right? Do you do anything to check whether I should have access to the name? Is there anything to stop me registering as Southwest Fed Linux or real Donald Trump or Scarlett Johansson?
Yeah, you can go to google.com and register a new Google account with any name that is not currently registered.
They can fix that because they have terms of license and terms of use.
Yeah, so we design the blockchain so that it has a cost to register a name. When you want to perform a transaction on the blockchain, there is a transaction cost, and there is also a cost that can be defined in the contract that can be arbitrary. We design the thing so that it's it should cost you too much to register. Every name that you register in the blockchain has a cost to you. So if you want to register 1 million names, you will have to do.
I only want 3 important ones. I want Fred Linux, real Donald Trump, and Scarlett Johansson. That's going to be fairly cheap.
Yeah. So
just to pick 3, everyone, it's not.
Yeah, those are probably already taken.
Okay, that's all right then.
Yeah, it's Trump-related stuff is very popular. But are you talking about the fact that like somebody might be able to register a controversial name,
or something which really shouldn't belong to them and will be expected to belong because real names mean something?
Right. Well, that's a question I don't really personally have an answer for that. I mean, because if I want to register myself as somebody else, yeah, I could do that on a lot of things. I guess you're saying that Google would prevent you from doing that, from registering yourself as the real name of somebody else?
If they didn't stop you, they have, I'm pretty sure, ways of fixing it, as do Twitter and Facebook.
Okay.
If people will claim it back, because they have terms of service.
It's a centralized server, so they can do that.
Right.
they have the power to do that, but most web services will allow you to register any name you want.
It's not the registering; it's the sorting it afterwards.
Changing.
The person behind you points out, when it's centralized, it's much easier to fix.
Well, the idea behind the name registration service is that the first person to register a name will have this name on the service. But this could evolve in the future, but as of now, this is the
in a case of complete catastrophe, I guess the entire blockchain can be annihilated and restarted, resulting in everybody losing their registered names and restarting their accounts, which would be horrible. But I haven't really encountered anything like or any situations that I would think. Absolutely.
well.
I'll talk to you later on that.
But there is
Legal issues.
It might be similar to there was issues with like the DAO on the blockchain. There was a bug in their code that allowed someone to steal a lot of money, but since it was written on the blockchain, nobody could do anything about it. So the community decided to move to another blockchain that fixed this issue. So if there was a major issue with the name registration service, we might decide, the whole Ring community, to move to some new directory that will have new rules to fix the issues that were encountered in previous versions of the blockchain. And it could be very well done to import most of the names that were already there in the previous blockchain or this kind of thing.
I mean, I guess that is a concern. There's other issues that we're working on in the upcoming year and implementing, like being able to change your password, which is a core feature that people need. So if you forget your password, people have mentioned this, and we have a few ideas for how to implement that, and it will probably come out in the next year.
Yeah.
Is it possible to implement custom services over Ring? And is there a client version without a graphical interface?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
So the Linux version has a dbus interface, so you can control it with any sort of thing that has a dbus interface. We have Python scripts ourselves to make automatic tests on that. Also, mostly, and just the core Ring can be built as a library, and you can link on it also.
Intended for IoT purposes.
Yeah.
There's a middleware that people use to design clients. However, like Android does not use the middleware. Somebody developed a client directly on top of the daemon. For instance, the version that I've spent a lot of time developing, which is the Universal Windows version of the client, that also does not use the middleware, so we just developed it right on top of the daemon. So pretty much anybody could go about making their own client interface with the API.
Okay, last question, short, because we are out of time.
Does it run over Tor?
No. Over Tor.
Oh. No, because it's UDP based, and also it's a real-time communication, and Tor is not very well suited for real-time communications.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.